Morning, guys. Welcome to Mornings with Granny. Hope you're having a good day so far. I want to wish happy birthday to my daughter. My youngest daughter is 42 today, so happy birthday, dear. And I also want to thank Penny from California. I received your mail yesterday. Thank you, Penny. Now, we're going to do the What If series today, and then I'm going to read from Starving in the Shadow of Plenty by Loretta Schwartz Noble. And yes, I have permission from the author. What if is a scenario in which this is the only food you had in the house besides spices and condiments. You had to make 3 meals for yourself today because tomorrow you get paid, or tomorrow you go to the food bank, or you get your EBT/food stamps. So let's look at what I have here, and I will tell you what I would do to make 3 meals, and I want you to tell me what you would do to make 3 meals. I have an apple, a 6-ounce can of tomato paste, a carrot, this is a half of a carrot, by the way, about a third of a cup of pasta, a fourth of a cup of peas, and a half of a granola bar. Now, I need to eat 3 meals, so what am I going to do? I would take the apple and have that for breakfast. I would open this tomato paste, add water to it to make soup. I would add whatever seasonings I might have on hand that would complement it. I would dice up the carrot, add the peas, and add the pasta. And I would have my soup for lunch and dinner. Or you could just have a big meal that afternoon. I would save my half a granola bar. If I got hungry that night, I would eat it. If I didn't, I would eat it the next morning before I went to the store. That's what I would do. And what would you do with these items? Let me know in the comments below. All right, let's get to Miss Noble's book. Now, you can order this book online. You can ask for it at the library, or I think you can get it on Kindle. I'm not sure. You'll have to check. I don't have a Kindle, so I'm not sure. The stories are the same today. The statistics are unfortunately higher, but the stories are the same. And the idea of this book is to put a face on hunger. We live in America where food is thrown away every day. They say 40% of the food is thrown away every day. Why do we have people hungry? That irritates me. Let's get started here. All right. This is chapter 2, and it's called Dying Slowly. A emaciated woman pulled at the edges of a torn gray sweater, her bony fingers red in the cold. She leaned heavily on the porch railing for support. Her body was still, but her large, bright blue eyes darted back and forth. Her head turned less quickly, and because she was so thin, the muscles and tendons of her neck stood out. She was waiting for food as the car eased to the curb below her porch on Weld Hill Street in Boston. The woman began to come down the steps with what seemed like almost frantic gestures. She was at the door of the car as the director of the Social Action Committee's Senior Citizen Lunch Program turned off the engine. The director asked her how was she doing today and handed her a packaged lunch and started to close the car door before the woman could respond. "I'm very weak," the woman said quickly. The words were clipped, the voice high and nervous with a Boston Irish accent. Although she spoke well, as a person who was educated, there was fear in her voice and everything else about her. She was almost a living skeleton. Her eyes were framed by huge dark circles, but the ashen skin stretched tightly still revealed a small upturned nose and finely shaped lips, which made it clear that she had once been beautiful. "I need help. Will you come back? You must come back," she pleaded, her voice trembling. "You know that we're very busy and we have a lot of other meals to deliver," the director answered as she turned the key in the ignition. "I'll come back," I said. That's Miss Noble speaking, as the car drove off. I went back later that afternoon. The woman explained to me that once she had done civil service work in City Hall, then had served with the Boston School Committee as a legal secretary. She lost her job several years ago, and after unemployment compensation ran out, she applied for welfare. They said she could work, and she said she wants to work, but no one will hire her. "I've had no income, and I've paid no rent for many months. My landlord let me stay. He felt sorry for me because I had no money. The Friday before Christmas, he gave me $10. For days, I had nothing but water. I knew I needed food. I tried to go, but I was too weak to walk to the store. I felt as if I were dying. I saw the mailman and told him I thought I was starving. He brought me food, and then he made some phone calls, and that's when they began delivering these lunches. But I had already lost so much weight that 5 meals a week are not enough to keep me going. I just pray to God I can survive. I keep praying I can have the will to save some of my food so I can divide it up and make it last. It's hard to save because I'm so hungry that I want to eat it right away. On Friday, I held over 2 peas from the lunch. I ate 1 pea on Saturday morning. Then I got into bed with the taste of food in my mouth, and I waited as long as I could. Later on in that day, I ate the other pea. I'm sorry, this breaks me up. Sorry about that. The chapter always breaks me up. Always tears me up. It says, today I saved the container that the mashed potatoes were in, and tonight before bed I'll lick the sides of the container. When there are bones, I keep them. I know this is going to be hard for you to believe, and I am almost ashamed to tell you, but these days I boil the bones till they're soft, and then I eat them. Today there were no bones. Upstairs, the old double bed was filled with neatly stacked piles of paper. The woman told me that they were mostly copies of letters she had written to the Social Security office, the Department of Public Welfare, and to local church groups and lawyers, pleading for food. Social workers from local social service agencies claimed that they had done all they could. They said that they tried repeatedly to help her, but she failed to qualify or had been unwilling to follow their rules, and as a result, she would have to subsist on 5 meals a week. I walked into the small, clean kitchen and opened the refrigerator. Except for the container with a bit of mashed potatoes left from lunch, it was empty. There was no food in any of the cupboards. It's happening all over the city, said Dorothy Lynch, a social worker at the Dorchester Area Planning Action Council. People are starving. For one reason or another, they don't meet all 36 requirements for food stamps. They can't get welfare, they're too old for the job market and too young for Social Security. What can we tell them to do? She asked angrily. Go to the hospital and get treated for malnutrition? I'm going to stop right there. As you can see, this book gets to me. I just can't imagine people being that hungry. So I ask you, please, if you can donate, if you can help, help. This is Mornings with Granny. I hope you have a good weekend. Bye-bye.